Elvis, and I'm going to take this opportunity to take it out on you. I decided to sleep, and now I am hurting. I only get to do one of the two things, sleep or not hurt. Fuck. I slept long enough that now I'm just hurting. So, you want to know something that grinds my gears? Something that grinds my gears is that I am the person required, evidently by fucking God, but I am the person required on the internet to stand up and go, hey, you fucking idiots. There are bad guys in our stories. You fucking idiots. There are bad guys in our stories. There are villains who must be destroyed or who must otherwise be redeemed. And we'll talk about redemption in a moment. Because you don't know what the hell Jesus meant when he was talking about being redeemed. I see it all the fucking time. I don't care what theology at the highest levels of intelligence believes, because even when you repeat that, you get it fucking wrong. There is a bad guy. It pisses me off that I have to be the person to say this. There is a bad guy in the stories that must be defeated, destroyed, or redeemed in some way, because they're the fucking object lesson. Not so you can relate to them. Not so you can look at them and go, oh, they actually have a kind of good point. I'm going to be just like them. That's not why they exist. In fact, archetypical bad guys exist so we can know who the developing bad guys are among our children. So those are the people that historically we could just let die. Relating to Cartman makes you a bad person. Looking at these villains, like I dated a girl whose favorite Disney character was Scar. And it's like, you're a bad person. You should have been allowed to wither on the vine. You shouldn't have made it through K-12. But that's where all this adult oppositional defiance comes from. That's where all these adult disorders come from that you can't shake, is growing up as a child, admiring the villains, the bad guys, hoping that this time you watch the thing, the villain won't lose, the bad guy won't lose. That's why Thanos was a two-part series. Like, that's why the movie was two parts, right? Because the bad guy had to be that bad and that efficient to teach you stupid fucks not to like him. And so as we're playing Final Fantasy VI, Kefka was my first bad guy. You want to be like Kefka. You don't want to be like Kefka. You don't want to relate to Kefka. You don't want Kefka to have pathos. You don't want Kefka to be like, well, he's got some good points. No, he doesn't. And anyone you meet who's like, Kefka's my favorite character because he's got some good points, is a bad person. The reason I don't like Final Fantasy VII on principle is because people say, I like Sephiroth. Fuck you. You're the villain. You're the bad guy. Sephiroth was a bad guy before he died, before he went mad and burned down Nibelheim. He was a bad guy to begin with. The reason he loses his mind is because he doesn't have any choice but to be a bad guy, because he was made to be a bad guy. He was conditioned to be a bad guy. And now the only impulses that he has upon learning that he has no free will is to do the worst thing. That is not an aspirational or inspirational character. That is not a character with genuine pathos. That is a bad guy. And if you like him, you are a bad person. That's how that metric works. That's why those characters exist as an archetype. That's why stories persist. That's why bad guys exist. There would be no point in ever telling a story if bad guys weren't the object lesson you were meant to take away. This whole idea among what are they called? YouTube essayists around movies trying to argue to you that the movie is about the character arc and that the character arc is the only thing that matters, are trying to tell you that narrative fiction is interesting and narrative fiction is unpublishable because it's not interesting. Hello, Logan. Hello, Aaron. You know what grinds my gears? Being lied to. That's what grinds my fucking gears. So let's talk about redemption, because I may not fill this for a full hour. Because you've been taught how redemption works. Wrong. Yeah, he is, Bunce. Total hog. Redemption is a currency metaphor. You redeem tokens. You redeem coupons. In the ancient world, specifically the Roman world of the first century, the world of Jesus's lived experience, you were owned by someone. Everyone was owned by someone. Even Caesar was owned. He was bought and paid for. Everyone, in other terms, was redeemed. Was deemed, rather. Everyone was deemed. They had a value appreciated to them, appropriated to them. Everyone was deemed worth a certain value. Redemption. So deem is what you do with a coupon. A coupon is deemed worth the value of a sandwich. You redeem the coupon by exchanging the value of the sandwich for the sandwich. Now there is no redemption happening, no deeming happening. A villain is redeemed when the evil that they have done, the harm that they have done, is deemed. There's a value set to it, and their end of life does greater or does the equal to or greater good. Redemption is where you change in your evil for that much or greater good. Thank you, Aaron. So when a villain is redeemed, that is not their death moment. Dragon Quest IV really struggled with this. They really tried this, and they couldn't even fit it. They couldn't fit it on the cartridge in the original. They had to go back and tinker with it in re-releases in order to make it happen at all. Redemption is where your evil is undone by good in your lifetime. The only thing that redeems you in death is God, and that is literally between you and God. Your afterlife is how you are remembered, but that is not your redemption. Jesus didn't say that, well, if we buy enough monuments when this person is gone, then all of the evil that they did will be undone, will be redeemed. No, absolutely not. Hi, Hazel, what's up? Hello, Queen Bee. That's not how that works. So if you're seeking redemption in life without making a material change in your approach, you're just the bad guy. You're just the bad guy. Simony, or what they used to call it's called simony, where you buy I think they're called buying leniences. The point was that you were deeming the value of your evil, and then you were giving it to someone else to redeem you. And a lot of the things that people were buying, they're not called leniences. There's another word that I can't remember. But the reason you were paying off the cost of your sins, and then just continuing to sin, and then buying off the cost of your sins, was because you could buy silence. And crimes had a value in the criminal system. And so when Christianity stepped up and said that we're going to be the moral backbone behind the criminal system that allows the criminal system to work in the first place, because no one will the criminal system, the way it worked is that the person that had been harmed, or the family of the person who had been harmed, had to literally bring the person that they were accusing to court. They had to bring them to the proceedings. There was none of this, you get a summons and you show up or you don't show up. Not in the Middle Ages. Not when Christianity was getting involved in reinforcing the law codes, or enforcing the law codes again at all. Because you understand that the re at the beginning of words like reinforce, redeem, means the word after them again. Right? So when you say it, well, we're going to reinforce this building, well, you've already enforced the building. Now you're making it enforced again, right? So when you reinforce a law, there had to be a force there in forcing, making making a present threat with force to happen in the first place, and there wasn't. So Christianity was enforcing laws, okay? They were reinforcing a criminal law system that was not being enforced. So they were giving their institutional intelligence to a system that wasn't being enforced. So they were enforcing a system, or they were enforcing it again because it existed, and now we're adding our force to it again. Crimes already had a system of debt that came with them. They already had a credit. So if you killed somebody, depending on their race, depending on who their family was, depending on where they lived in the world, that cost a certain amount of money. There was a name for it. Head price, I actually think, is the name of the thing. There was a term for it. But every crime had a cost. If you broke somebody's yardstick, you owed them damages, right? Damages. We talk about damages in our current legal code because they already had the idea. You owed someone damages. And so basically, and this is how you get to the Epstein list, basically, we just assigned a cost to damages done interpersonally. So if you take somebody's virginity without their permission, it costs this amount of money. If you have this number of women that are all married at your party and you're the only male at the party and you do things, it costs this amount per woman. That's just how they figured they could do it. That was the only way they could figure they could get it to stop, was to hit them where they thought it mattered, in their purses. But what the church didn't understand, or maybe what the church absolutely did understand and had a lot of fucking churches that it needed to build quickly, was that these people had infinite wealth. They had money that grew itself. You can't actually punch a corporation in its purse. You can't actually punch it where it hurts. You can't actually hurt a corporation and its finances because it exists to generate money. These nobility that were doing these heinous things that they then had to pay off to the church in order to keep doing them, they had money that grew itself. Literally, there was no amount of sin that they could do to get rid of that money. That's why they were doing the things that they were doing, and so happy to pay off the price. Because in a way, it was trickle-down economics. If you give all of these billions of dollars and send money to the church, then the church is going to eventually trickle it down to the poor. Why do you think the Susan G. Komen Fund exists? So rich people can just keep moving the money around and keep doing evil things, and have a pool of people who are dying to do terrible things too. Come on, guys. The villain, Cartman, gets no redemption because Cartman's not going to suddenly change his temperament. I don't know what's up with Iran, Joseph. I know that their efforts to depopulate the region have only made it more unstable. I don't know why they thought it would do anything else. You have to depopulate and then repopulate, and we're in the middle of a population crisis. We have been in the middle of a population decline since the 1970s. There was no population to replace with. There were no colonists to send in and teach these people how to live like human beings. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with Iran. I don't know why the last 40 years have gone the way they've gone in the Middle East. It doesn't make any damn sense. Neither historically nor mathematically. I don't know. I'm not in a position of power. It's not my job to think about. Quite literally above my pay grade. And you aren't going to make it valuable to me to try to figure out. Not in real time or otherwise. I don't know what spice is, but I am definitely not your boy, and you call me that again and you will absolutely be muted. Winter's over, Ben. Thank you for sharing, Brad. It appears that I'm lying in my tent, kind of reclining in my tent, and I've been talking into my camera live on YouTube is what appears to be what I'm doing, Fawn, if I had to guess. Confirm or deny which Satanist allegations, David? Don't tell me what to do, Brad. I don't know what Groundhog Day has to do with the experienced weather. Ben. Don't tell me what to do, Gum. Good morning, Rachie. The most amazing thing is somebody will tell you what to do, and then you'll tell them to not tell you what to do, and then they'll get butthurt. That's amazing to me. That's why I do it. It's just amazing. Huh? I'm in a lot of pain, and well, it was definitely not a suggestion. Why would I have a fire going, Giz? A suggestion is a hint. I'm definitely not camping. Fireball. Yeah, it's still snowing in the Northeast because that winter storm is doing the thing that it was doing. You know, we're a sphere, so it's dipped down, and now it's going back to where it normally is. I don't think everyone deserves either love or happiness. Gum for brains. I think that doesn't make any sense. In fact, I think that you would argue the opposite if I suggested to you that Adolf Hitler deserved both love and happiness. If when he approached God, and God said to him, "All right, it's time for you to go back. With the sum of the things that you did in your life, this is what you deserve." I do not think you would argue that Adolf Hitler deserved either love or happiness as the sum of his life choices. I don't think you would make that argument. And if you did make that argument, you're the bad guy. There's a reason that there's a logical fallacy associated with Hitler. Fireball. The logical fallacy associated with Hitler exists because it's too easy to win a fallacious argument by bringing up the Nazis. But in that same right, it's really easy to point out a fallacious argument by pointing out the Nazis existed. Well, you didn't say that everyone needs love and happiness. You said everyone deserves love and happiness. So if you had said everyone needs love and happiness, you might be able to turn your fallacious argument around. You become irredeemable. I'm beginning to think you didn't listen to the first 15 minutes, Gum for Brains, and you're trying to get me to repeat myself. Yeah, I'm actually filming from a Hollywood basement, DS. I'm in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm actually in Flea's basement right now. Like, I don't think you would live, I don't think you would wish love and happiness on someone like P. Diddy, for example. And I think if you did try to make that argument that he deserves love and happiness after the crimes that he has committed and the wrongs that he has done, I think that you're the bad guy. You're the villain. You're the Frankenstein's monster that needs to be chased out of town with pitchforks, torches. You're the child that was left behind. What the hell? I'm missing one of my smoke boxes and I'm going to be agitated about it because it's supposed to be inside my shirt and it's not. And I bet you it's the full one. Son of a bitch. That's the one I needed to not disappear. Means it's probably in my pants. I am in neither a mountain or a wood. I'm in a ravine behind the coals. The glamour that you guys associate with living in a tent is surreal to me. I spent enough time in my childhood in tents to know that there's just no amount of glamour that one can maintain for any amount of time in a tent. Not even a fucking weekend. And I know I've been here for 18 months. It's just hard to imagine this life being as glamorous as you do. Fireball. Yeah, actually, Ned Flanders on drugs isn't a bad comparison. Ned Flanders was the only character on The Simpsons that I liked. And then I realized that he was the butt of every joke and every scene that he was in. And I went, oh, okay, I see. I have no place in the Simpsons future. I'll just not watch this show and stave off depression for a few decades. Not even a few decades. A decade, a few years. Son of a bitch. thing could be fucking anywhere. Fucking hell. I needed that one to be the one that didn't do this to me today. I hear you, Rachie. How's your trip? I'm guessing you probably just woke up. Why are you okaying me? I'm almost there. I just really need your mom to work the balls a little bit more. Sometimes it's just that little extra tickle, you know, that helps you get over the mountain. Boop, bop, boop. I'm glad that you got to see snow, Rachie. I know that you were really lamenting not getting to see snow. Boom, 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 boom. Probably don't make a snow angel though. You might be a little bit old for that much activity. Bitch. Bitch ass. This sucks. We exist now in the worst possible timeline. Because this fucking thing could be anywhere. Okay. Don't freak out. Don't freak out! Nobody freak out. I'm freaking out! It's happening. I'm gonna freak out. Oh my god. Oh my god! I did not want to spend $25 today. Huh? No, I lost one of my smoke boxes, bro. I can't make it through the day without my smoke box. Come back to me. Yeah, you're real fun, tricky boy. Aha. That's not it. That's an old one. That should have been thrown away a long time ago. Except... that might be it. Yeah, I'm looking for my crack. I dropped my last rock. You know how it is. I do think this is an old one. It's also fully charged. Both Halloween. I'm freaking out, Rach. This is the one that won't draw. I broke the mouthpiece. So there's still good THC in there, but it won't draw out. I can't smoke it. Bummer! Yuck. I don't know what that means, kept out in the woods. Like my girlfriend won't let me in the house? What do you mean? Am I like are you asking me, Aaron, if I'm an outside boy? I don't know what that means. Like she makes me sleep in the yard, but she brings me inside for sex? Don't start with me, Rachel. Like, no, outside boys don't get on the furniture. Off the couch, off the couch! Good boys sit in the beanbag, in the floor. Fuck! I'm probably sitting directly on it, and no amount of moving. That's not what's happened. That has happened before. Fuck. Man. Wait a minute. That's my belt buckle. Shit. I had it last night, so it's here. It couldn't have gotten that far. And it hadn't fallen outside the tent. I would have seen it. I would have seen it. What time is it? Killing time until about 11. Then I can go get lunch. And then the day can begin and we can go play Final Fantasy VI. Boom, 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 baby, yeah. Hello, da boo bow bow ba boo bow bow bee bow bee bow bow ba boom 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 boom. Ba boom 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 boom, baby. Hey, what's that? That's a pin, I think. It could come out of there. Nope, that's a zipper. Yo, there's zippers down there. I'm always looking for crack, man. You never know what you're gonna find until you look for it, dude. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, maybe if the conversation were stimulating, I wouldn't be thinking about how I can't find my crack. The beam, ba boom, boom, ba 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 diddly ba. You ever think about that? Cigars and dickheads. Ba bum ba beam ba boom boom ba boom ba boom boom ba boom ba 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 ba. Hey, look at that. You never know what you're gonna find until you look for it. I found a pen. I didn't know that was in there. My peen is in there. I'm trying to get stoned, dudes. Like, somebody's got to have some empathy for that. Like, let the man look for his crack. Oh, look at that. I found quarters. Those aren't supposed to be there. I found a whole $1 of quarters just in a spot they're not supposed to be. See, you just never know what you're going to find until you look for it. Fuck. I feel like I'm in an extended Bill Engvall bit. Yes, I live in this tent. You think I just lost my fucking vape pen in somebody else's tent? Like, hey, let me do. Okay, can I shoot live from your tent real quick? Fuck, I seem to have lost my vape pen. Shit, I don't even have my pants buckled yet. It's probably in my fucking pants somewhere, which means I've been farting on it for hours. Who wants to smoke that? I do. What time do I have to go to work? I don't have to do anything if I don't feel like it. I didn't choose homelessness so I could be bossed around by someone named Gilbert. It's not in my pants. Rachel, what the hell? Why do I have so many old ones? Throw them away, Vincent. I'm so fucking superstitious, dudes. I am so fucking superstitious. No, there's nothing worse than being bossed around by a guy actually named Gilbert. Like, your parents didn't love you. No, I'm not accepting donations from anyone named Tank. If you have to ask, it's a no. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, dee dee, ba da ba da da. Oh, I'm superstitious from all of the incredibly weird and impossible things that have happened to me, Chaz. I don't actually smoke meth, dude. I'm just a lot smarter than you are. So I can joke about myself for the people who know me. And you can only recycle a meme they heard when you were in middle school. My name is Vincent. I don't know why you would go immediately to anti-Semitism, but it proves exactly my point about you, Gilbert. I don't like uppers. I don't even particularly like caffeine. I don't particularly like stimulation. I prefer numbness. A lot of people talk about pain, suffering. You were born in the pain. You were forged in it. Yeah, okay, Bane. Shut up. Ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-boom, boom. You gotta reach too cliche. You gotta reach too cliche. Ba-boom, boom, boom. I do know you, Chaz. You go by Chaz. Ba-boom, boom, boom, boom. You're a fucking loser. I'm really glad you unsubscribed, Tank. I'm really glad, actually. I got into an argument with my believers here yesterday where I said, going online and ranting about the things that I hate about my subscribers is a really good way to get them to unsubscribe. And my believer tier said, yeah, you're probably right about that. And I said, well, that'd be a really fucking dumb thing to do, wouldn't it? Check your fucking privilege, Joshua. Yeah, forever, Gilbert. Fuck off, Tank. Fuck your face. I fucking hate your face. I'd like to beat your face with a fucking wiffle bat until it's nothing but the plastic scraps. And bow. Fuck off. That one's on my forthcoming album, I Hate Your Fucking Face. Parenthetical, it's funny because it's true. Ugh. I can do this. Not that button. Oh, fuck you. La la la. Doom doo doo. That's how I deal, by the way, with haters. For anybody who wanted to climb up my ass for the way Daniel Thrasher deals with his. Boom. Ooh. What can I pin to the live stream? What does that mean? All right. Evidently, I'm not allowed to do that in vertical. That's dumb. Boom. All right. So anyway, I feel like singing. You guys fucking suck. Have a good morning.